Hi everyone, Mo here, and with the vlog for the week of March 21st. And this week it was extremely busy, and yet I did manage to pack in some creative time. And what I begin to see as more time goes on, the excuse that we all make, oh, I don't have time to make things. It's not true, really. Like, something to think about, because even I have found that, especially when I'm busy, I strive to make time to make art. And sometimes when there is free time and it's like, I have designated time, and then I feel this pressure to create. Oh, I have put time aside. Now I must create. And that makes me procrastinate and basically not get as much done. But when I'm in the flow of things, whether they're creative or mundane, more gets done. And that is just a realization. Maybe it has always been like this, maybe not, but it's just something I am thinking about recently, that is it really about the time, or is it about the drive? Not Don't have a conclusion on it, but something I am becoming more and more aware of, that maybe it's not about how much extra time one has. Or at least that's been my experience this week. Just something to think about. Yeah, I did work on my sketchbook quite a bit, and this is going to be a video of its own. So I'm not going to flip through the sketchbook yet. And I am starting to think about the cover. And obviously, that hasn't made any progress. But I'm probably going to have a sketchbook with a completed cover with all the pages finished in my March sketchbook. Don't know yet, still have a few pages left to go, but I'm hopeful. So that one is that one. I am on day 43 of my 100-day project. This week I am doing quotes by Joseph Campbell. I mean, some of his words are just, some things I can relate to, and some things I feel that maybe my future self will relate to someday. Not quite there yet, but at least it's in the process of my thinking. And a lot is, like I said, even with the time with the sketchbook, a lot of it is really in the mind, the shift of the mind that finds time enough to create, even though there is a lot of responsibilities to take. And it's strangely, everything does get done and nothing gets forgotten. And yet there are those slouchy days when, there is really nothing to do, and there is a lot of time, but there is no inspiration. Those are the days when it's, when the inspiration is not spilling out. Those are the days when showing up is harder, and probably something that requires a lot of discipline. And it has its value, because a lot of the times I don't have inspiration before I started, but I start to scribble, do this thing, do this, that, and then it starts to create a flow of its own. Like, there are many ways to get to flow, I suppose that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm rereading Austin Kleon's book, Show Your Work. I think this is going to be the third time that I'm reading this book. The first time I read the whole book. The second time I just chose what I wanted to read. This time I'm going back again and reading, because this is just, not enough can be said about this thing. Think process, not product. Most of the time, product is it's very easy to get discouraged when the product does not match the imagination. I have found that to happen with me quite often. It's like, yeah, it didn't turn out quite as I had envisioned. It took detours from what was the original plan, and embracing that as the value of the creative process. It's a huge mind shift in my case, from where, you know, I grew up in the environment where external achievement meant a lot, meant to my childhood mind. It sometimes even meant that achievement earns you love, your parents' love, which is not the case. But you know, when you are young, that's how you see the world, and your parents are probably also raised in that tradition. And kudos to all the parents who moved away from that and could they make their children feel that their love and achievement are not really related. It's a moment of pride, but other than that, love is constant. I think that is something I think about often in my own parenting. And yeah, my parents were wonderful, in many ways, many unconscious parents, and in many ways I am unconscious too. But again, it's the process. I look at my achievement now and it doesn't really look like, oh, I'm so not there yet. But you know, there is no shortcut to there either, not that I know of. So just allowing myself to embrace that process. And we know these things, we all talk about these things, and I find it to be very helpful to read it or see it in another person, like another person mentioning it. It acts as a reminder, very valuable reminder. So I have two of Austin Kleon's book. This one, this is the one I'm reading right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to read the other one after this. We'll see. But for now, it's just, you know, I read, then I sit for some time without flipping to the next page and rushing through it. It's hardly a mystery novel, right? But, you know, these are things to almost meditate on. And, this week I am trying to like rush through. So I finish my paintings, and this is my latest one. And I'm kind of, I don't know. Ooh, let's not spill tea on painting. Let's move these out of the way. And like started doing the leaves, like individual leaves. The background was brighter, and then I didn't like it, and I started layering like more opaque paint, more opaquely. And I am not sure where this is heading at this moment. It's like I'm taking a step and then trying it out and then revisiting it to see if I like it that way, if I should leave it that way, or if it needs more work, more, if it needs tweaking. And there is no way for me to know. I suppose, I don't know how people who are properly trained in art approach it. I mean, I try to do things on my sketchbook. I probably I showed it to you in my February sketchbook flip through, that the sketches that I had for these paintings. But you know, the moment it gets transferred to a canvas and the work starts to feel a bit different. That is how I should say it. Starts to feel like, you know, it's not the same as in the sketchbook. And it could be the difference in size. What looks nice in a small sketchbook does not quite cut it when it's on a bigger surface. But yeah, for me, all of my creative work has been a process of trial and error. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I painted the same painting on an equally big paper, I might not have any interest left to work on the canvas. I don't know if anybody relates to this, but for me, I feel like, this is an unfolding process. If I knew exactly how it's going to turn out, I would lose interest. So, yeah, in many ways, it's an act of faith, a leap of faith, just knowing that this is what I'm trying to capture. This is where the origin of this painting was like, I see a lot of eastern bluebirds outside my window, and I sometimes feel like, I feel almost spiritually connected to them. And it sounds strange to people who don't believe in such things, and you don't have to. But yeah, I can somehow connect to them. I feel connected to them. And I have mentioned before also that I live in a area that is pretty, where I have access to nature. Like, it's pretty green. And green meaning, of course, in winter it's mostly not green, but during summer, when I go on long walks, I see these birds, I see the leaves, and I notice the like in the woods, it's not manicured and organized like somebody's yard or lawn. But the layers and layers of leaves and twigs, they are all different. They don't blend into one green blob. And yet, together, I mean, it's a matter of zooming in, zooming out almost, mentally. Like, okay, these are the individual leaves. Look at how the shape of the leaves, the texture of the leaves, the immense variety in the green. Like, not every green is the same. So yeah, that and capturing that. And I see on my drive, when I drive my daughter to school, I see enough hills and mountains in the distance around here. So all of those, and the way they change, the look of all the same elements change throughout the year with the variation of seasons. It's really amazing. It's a feeling of being rich. It's almost like the whole place has a spirit of its own. And yeah, so for me, the painting is a process of the art that is unfolding on the canvas, as well as an unfolding of an awareness in me. And yeah, that's all I have got for you this week. Like, lots of realizations. And when I want to share one of my purchases, except for the whole collection of Shopkins items that I got for my daughter. I got I don't know, is it focusing? Let me just set it down, and hopefully it's like, they are fake succulents, but they are so adorable. They come in this tiny geometric pot, and they have got these fake little stones and everything. And it came today, and I just love it. I know it's probably not a wise purchase, but it just made me very happy. And our spring break here starts this week. This week meaning today's Sunday, so starting tomorrow. And it's just lots of little things that I have planned with my youngest, because my son went to see colleges with his dad, and my oldest, she went back to school yesterday, because her spring break was a week before her, like my younger two's. So yeah, so it was not like a one whole span of time where everyone was available. And besides, she's now grown up. and she has plans of her own. Even when she doesn't have school, she works there. She goes to Hopkins, and she has a lot of work throughout summer as well. So we don't know. Yes, it's in a growing family. It's like we are, again, it's another process of unfolding in our lives, where we are seeing how it's no longer, okay, it's spring break, so the kids have spring break, and then their father would take the week off from work, and then whatever I had, I would just have to stop, pause, and do, like, go along with everything that's going on. And now it's, the expansion, the children growing up, and the children, like, the oldest is 19, and she is going back to school. The second one, he's in high school, so he's going off to see colleges. And then there is the youngest, she's only 7, and we do very different things with her. And it's like, when my older two were young, it was quite a bit of challenge, because I was the only parent present 99% of the time, and they were only 2 years apart. So I struggled to just, take a moment to just enjoy my kids. We were like all rushing through everything, activity, school, this, that. And all of a sudden they just grew up at the same time, right? And having my youngest here with me, it's like, I'm enjoying everything far more. And maybe I'm older and I am a little less flustered, maybe, who knows, that there's no guarantee to that. But overall, it's just more peaceful, and seeing the world through her eyes, through my youngest eyes, it's always such a gift. She looked at this crocus, because the crocus, now they're sprouting here, and she looked at the crocus, and she told me, like, look at those, they are survival flowers. I don't know if that's an official thing or not, but I was I had to pause for a second to just take in what she just said. Survival flowers, because the crocus are the first to break through, and sometimes there's still snow in the ground, and yet they break through. So looking at it from that standpoint, yes, they are survival flowers, the resilience. And I loved that. So just taking in the world from a fresh perspective, and kind of, it breathes its new life every time in me, when I make things or whatever, in everything that I do. And with that, I'll stop rambling, and I will see you next week, next Sunday. Bye bye.